So, hello everyone, good morning. I'm really happy to be here today with Gaëlle. We have got the mission to give you some global sports trends for winter 24-25. We will try our best to make it interactive. I'm really sorry first for my French accent. I will try my best to...
And mine also.
Yeah, we will try our best to make it understandable for everyone. So I think we are ready for a 1-hour presentation. What we'll do, my name is Adrian, first of all, and I am in charge of the sports department of the Carlin Group, which name is INMOUV. And I will let Gaëlle introduce herself.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Gaëlle Berlioz, and I'm working for INMOUV agency as a trend expert in active sports market.
And so yeah, we're gonna give you a quick introduction about what we do. I will try to be quick. This is not the purpose, but just to give you an overview of who we are. So we are a creative and anticipation agency. We are specialized in sports. What we do, we anticipate, we analyze, and we make recommendations for brands in order for you to launch the right product at the right time and in, I would say, in coherence with the market. So we were created in 1947, quite a long time ago. And the division of sports was built in 2008. So this is the network that we have in the world. So just to understand, our headquarters is based in Paris. But we've got many agents that represent ourselves in the world. Our DNA, so basically what are our main specificities? I would say that the colors, we've got the CSI and fabrics also, design for sure, the international vision, the strategy, and the innovation and vision. So this is part of our expertises. What I invite you to do if you're interested in this is like to meet us at our booth, which is O21. It's in all three. And you can discover the trend books if you want to and speak with us. So that's it. Now, sorry for this introduction, but let's go with the active highlights for winter 24-25.
We are going to show you 4 main concepts. This is like a macro trend.
Just for you to understand a little bit how we decided to create the trends. We have created a matrix on which our prospective scenarios will be positioned. The matrix is built on 2 axes. The ordinates one, which is illustrated with the cursors Ms, which gives the relationships to oneself and the particular interest. And then we also have the with, which talks about the relationships to the other or to the common interest. And in the abscissas axis, which represents the cursor between the technological world in expansions and the physical worlds to be safeguarded.
So first scenario is regeneration. This is a scenario that will focus on conservation, conscientiousness of our resources. And the idea is to turn to regenerative design rather than extractive design. The second one, absolute, is a scenario around the luxury that turns to functionality. We saw that now luxury is more focused around the good detail, the good shape, the good functionality, rather than luxurious effects. The third one, reglam, explores the mutation of sport practice at a time of workout alone at home and the decline of traditional winter sports, in order to reconnect with the social and festive side of sports and re-enchant them. And the last one, the venture, the 4th scenario, will propose a new epic storytelling for outdoor, full of promise for the future of outdoor sports and the close link it has with the fight against climate change. So we are going to introduce each concept by customer expectation, strategic scenario, and creative scenario.
Yes, the idea is to give you a big overview of what's going on, what are the strategic solutions that you brands have to develop or to think about, and creative solution is what you're going to develop in order to respond to these problematics that we will have in 2024-25.
So this first scenario is around the idea of repairing our errors by opting for regenerative rather than extractive models. We will answer to this scenario with human-nature co-care centric strategic solution and poetic creative solution.
So I'm going to start with the macro social trends. Today, the awareness of the vulnerability of the resources has allowed the implementation of laws and advanced studies in order to act in the best way to find sustainable solutions. The thing is also human increasingly lives in cities. We've got awareness of the natural world's vulnerability. In addition to the desire to recreate a proximity with nature in the heart of cities, it is now indeed difficult to ignore the loss of biodiversity through the world. In this sense, we've got in 2022, I don't know if you saw that, but the European Commission proposed a Nature Restoration Act. So this law would require European Union member states to restore forests, wetlands, in addition to other landscapes and seascapes damaged by the human development.
So we saw an expectation concerning vernacular design, thanks to local resources, with beneficial impact on the economic, social, and environmental levels. In example, you can see the Seattle Climate Pelge Hockey Arena that has been restored with the same exterior structure to reduce carbon emission. The size of the arena has doubled without changing the roof or the wall. In the same vein, you have here an example of Le Coq Sportif, who has designed, who is also the partner of the next Olympic game, and has designed a collection knitted and dyed in Troyes, a few kilometers from the historical birthplace of the brand. So there is a need for the local supplies that are applied to all strata of our society.
So, here I'm going to start with some strategic solution. This is the first one. And I will take the example of the forest bath, which allows for a time of resourcing in nature and is echoed in a new form of land art by artist Angela Eastman or Jean K. Simons, who weaved the grass like air between meditative practice and symbolic connection with nature. We also have here our seeds, which are aerodynamic pods of nutrients and seeds made from food waste, which work with nature to accelerate its regeneration up to 10 times. We also have a Spanish designer called Paola Ulargui Escalona that has pollinated Jonathan Anderson Loewe's most recent collection with living and breathing garments. The research also explores the beneficial capacities of hitherto ignored natural elements. So, for example, at the Helsinki Design Week in 2022, the Finnish Aalto University presented a sustainable textile padding, fluff stuff, this is called like this, made from bulrushes, a hydrophobic plant typical of Finnish pet bugs. We speak also about dandelion. Here, dandelion, which is already used for multiple benefits in the kitchen, in phytotherapy, or in herbal teas. It is less known for its use in the textile industry, because it is also an alternative to rubber derived from rubber latex. In fact, the texture of the white liquid extracted when the plant is pulled up is very similar to that of the bleeding on rubber trees. So when it dries, it forms an elastic gum that now interests sneakers producers. You have here the example of coal Japan that has used this technology to develop these sneakers here. We talk also about AgraLoop. The AgraLoop refines natural fiber derived from agriculture crops into textile-grade fiber called AgraLooped biofiber. This is a new natural fiber mindfully sourced for circularity. The third strategic solution, simplify recycling. The recycling of used clothing remains a major challenge. Faced with the soaring prices of raw materials, it is not only an eco-responsible vision that directs the actors of fashions. Everyone now is aware that the million of tons of unused product could be the key resources of tomorrow. We've got the example of Nike here that unveiled a major innovation in its circular production approach with the Nike ISPA link. I don't know if you saw this, but it is quite interesting to see. The ISPA team started from an observation. The glue is the main problem in the recycling process of shoes. To remedy this problem, Nike has developed the first separable shoe. The ISPA link has a mesh upper and a recycled TPU sole. This upper attached to the cleats through opening on its bottom and has a removable laces. We also can take the example of Adidas T-Rex because the mono fabrics also continue to inspire new products that are very easily recyclable. T-Rex continue to develop anoraks made entirely of polyester, including the Velcro and the snap fasteners. Designed for the circular economy, these jackets goes to the end of the ecological approach by using recycled fibers from used plastic bottles, waste fabrics from manufacturing, and also old fishing nets.
We are now talking about the creative solution. So the first one is around moss texture. While remembering undergrowth, moss texture in eco-fiber replace progressively fluffy fleece texture on their microplastic shading problems. Here you can see a sample of the North Face and Honya Watanabe, who team up crafting a special hoodie utilizing a protein-based fiber developed by biomaterial company Spiber. The second sample is from Reebok and Branded. On this collaboration, they have looked to nature for inspiration with a playful fuzz texture to give each sneakers a sense of being alive. And the last one is a jacket with a very fluffy texture, but this is made with recycled wool. The second creative solution is around seamless ribbed jacquard knit that remains plant vein style while avoiding textile waste. So the first sample is Ila Yoga mat. They are unwoven in a traditional way in a cooperative represented by a majority of women in the south of India. From organic cotton and natural rubber to ensure the best adherence. The dyeing of the fabric is carried out by an assembly of plants, herbs, oil, and Ayurvedic spices carefully selected for their property. The fabrics thus treated act as a natural medicine for the skin, promoting well-being and soothing. The second sample is from Nanyata. This yoga brand uses God-certified organic cotton, as well as merino wool to knit their ribbed seamless yoga wear. Founded on the philosophy of sustainable-minded design, Nanyata considers approach to design all the respect for honesty of material and its impact on both the body and the planet. The last creative solution is concerning the print. We have a focus on chiseled camouflage in less like plant camouflage, as if to magnify the delicacy and fragility of plants, while symbolizing their fertile network and interconnection. And then we are going to talk about the colors. We have a focus on dreamy botanical colors. This is an harmony with a rush green and verdigris. They are urbanized by a gray mauve, who is named Sea Frog, for an organic bouquet of winter pastel.
So, this is it with the first concept. I hope you like it. We're going to move on with the second one. Absolute. And I didn't precise at the beginning, but if you have some question, we will answer it at the end of the presentation. So feel free to keep it in mind and to question us later on.
So this second scenario, absolute, is around bankable sobriety. Bling is no longer displayed in a world constrained by sustainability. However, the aspiration for practical luxury must master how to combine know-how and making known so that tomorrow's sobriety is bankable. The creative solution is refined, ostentation-oriented.
So talking a little bit about macro. Just first, according to Bain & Company, while the growth of the global luxury market could reach 360 billion euros by 2025, the sector is experiencing an inflection point compared to a historical development. In the firm's Rerouting the Future report, it posits that luxury will inevitably have to expand its desirability through authentically sustainable development. So, outerwear have been transformed into a statement staple in luxury, merging exceptional functionality with high-quality shape. So we've got the example here with Samsoe and Gore-Tex. For the new Fall-Winter 2022, the two partners celebrate craftsmanship, design, and weatherproof functionality. As in the previous release, each partner brings its expertise and know-how to the table. Minimalist yet urban Scandinavian design for Samsoe and the technical materials for Gore-Tex, including their Gore-Tex Infinium wine stopper technology. This is a good example of what we are talking about, efficient luxury.
So concerning the consumer expectation, we saw a new face of luxury claiming an active lifestyle where you have time to take care of yourself rather than performing or getting fit. Luxury brands are stretching their range toward active products to meet this growing demand. For example, you have here the Moncler dynamic line that is great for the active lifestyle. So we saw that this brand is not only play with the sports brand, but now use a technical fabric as a Gore-Tex and as a Polartec Neoshell. We also have Hermès, the luxury Parisian brand, who has launched, the Hermès Fit marketing event, offering everyday athletes the use of a yoga block, a stretch belt, and halter shoes. These luxury objects, predispose hybrid behaviors, playing on elegance or agility, exactly like the dandies on the old century who already equipped themselves as the Parisian sadly.
So, some strategic solution here. Ultimate detail. So, now we can see that emerge a bankable sobriety. It combines the know-how and making know of an efficient luxury worn by an elitist culture that craves cards wherein refined ostentation invites admiration and respect. You can see on the jacket from Adidas Terex here, the Tech Rock Light Gore-Tex jacket, which is the lightest and softest 3-layer mountaineering jacket from Adidas Terex. Well, this was made possible by the YKK Integra zipper, which have been attached directly to the waterproof fabric, eliminating the need for the usual webbing and seam sealing. Also, we can see that much attention has been paid to clever pocket placements, especially when climbers are carrying a backpack, a climbing harness, and possibly a rope or a sling. We can look also at this jacket from Arterix. Micro-seams technology and articulated fits draw the new developments to offer a natural movement by mimicking the shape of the human body. Complex patterns and seams placements give Arterix product a three-dimensional shape, avoiding tension. Featuring also ultra-performance design and innovative synchronized layering system, we've got Agloff's new LAM series, which is made from experience for outsiders who seek the ultimate challenge. We have also some brands that claim a DNA based on pure innovation and performance, justifying high-end prices. We got Templa, which is a luxury outdoor performance brand specializing in alpine and urban outerwear that fuse a contemporary aesthetics with technical innovation. Comprising a futuristic tone, each style is meticulously engineered with uncompromising detail and luxury craftsmanship that challenge the conventional boundaries of garment construction. We also have Nordarin that you probably know. Their dual commitments to high performance and sustainability is only possible because of their willingness to use the most innovative materials on the planet without compromise. Nordarin use biosourced Dynama fibers, the strongest and lightest fiber in the world. In also February 2020, Norda also began collaborating with the iconic sole manufacturer Vibram to create the ultimate high-performance trail-running sole. That's something. And also Volbach. Well, Volbach used science and technology to make the future of clothing happen faster. Every month, they launch clothing concepts that have never been seen before. One of their latest developments is quite interesting. It's anticipating life on Mars with a chill-out gear to help to feel at home on Mars. The third strategic solution, sustainable purity. Functionality at its peak pushed the shapes follow functions trends towards an ultra-minimalist design, which redefines the codes of luxury. We've got the example of Nike Forward, which is a futuristic material designed from ultra-thin layers of needle-punched fabrics. Assembled from multiple ultra-thin layers, each layer of Nike Forward is designed for a specific function, such as warmth or softness. The manufacturer of these first collections emits an average of 75% less carbon compared to conventional fleece. The goal? To go further by consuming less energy. We also have Vaode, which has developed the Novum 3D, which is a 3D printed monomaterial Vaode backpack, ready to be recycled with a clean and a functional look, as you can see here.
Concerning the creative solution one, we have a focus on soft radicality with textile waves and jacquard wefts, playing with microgrid while superimposing, allowing typographic effects like technical data to appear. We have a focus on digital style, resolutely minimalist, and softened by the verdigris colors. The second creative solution is around sharp details, with singular interlocking, like a robotic joint, profile architectural details, and the textural clump in active seams, like you can see here, for example, on a clean-cut design. The idea is to bring emotion to high-tenacity weld product, which may seem sometimes a little too flat. The third one is on a thinage approach that highlights the structure of the product and their sobriety with a refined blocking. In example, you can see the two-tone constructivism hiking shoes or the helmet from POC that is reduced to its absorbed shock materials on a colorate-based structure that could be disassembled for the end-of-life recycling. Concerning the colors, we have a focus on refined bankables. It's a breath of fresh air that is brought to academic colors, renewing their signage effectiveness in darker and more refined shades.
So we have finished with this second concept. We've got 2 more left. Everything's okay right now? Cool. Reglam.
So this third scenario is around motivating physical interaction and stimulating the pleasure of practicing sport together in a connected, economically constrained and sustainable world. The idea is to find the pleasure of awareness with appealing eco-events and eco-fancy creative solutions.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm going to talk a little bit about the COVID, but we cannot don't talk about it for the future trends. It has made a huge impact, and you will see it with our strategic solution and through the macros, that it has left effect on the motivation to socialize in real life. The COVID-19, which forced large swathes of the global population to isolate with members of the household, has spurred the shift toward personalized at-home workouts and made overall wellness even more salient. Maybe some of you start practicing sports at home. I tried to, it was not very good, but I tried to myself. In that way, we can assume that the home fitness market will size the home fitness market size will attain $17 billion by 2030. It's growing at a rate near 5%, at a growth rate near 5%. This is why many companies now have quickly become interested in these growing markets, and they try to offer more and more solutions to meet this increasing demand. We've got the example of January here. It is Nautilus that unveiled this in October 2019, so it was just before the COVID. It is a digital platform that uses artificial intelligence to provide tailor-made workouts that adjust effortlessly with the user. We also have in 2020, we've got Lululemon that have bought Mirror, which is an at-home fitness company which offers several ultra-personalized sports classes right in your living room. If you didn't have seen this, I invite you to see the video of Mirror presentation. This is quite impressive. Well, you don't want to go to the gym later than you see this in your home. Also, we've got something about virtual race. The habits have changed, and the virtual race allowed to run in a dematerialized world during the lockdown. But the thing is, it has remained in the daily life of runners. So, the backlash of these new trends, what it is, it's that sport is reduced to its basic function, with the virtual coaching that make losing all the social dimension of the gym and of the global gym session with a coach. So the question now is, how can we reconnect with the festive spirits of sporting events? That's what Gaëlle will talk about.
Yes, we see that there is consumer expectation because people want to party together, but they need some motivation. The idea is to reintroduce festive relationship in real life and not in virtuality, to allow new creative emulation without generating ecological or financial guilt. For example, here you have ASICS. They have promoted well-being awareness in an Amsterdam museum with a pop-up installation of immersive display, chiming into its sound mind, sound body motto. The event exemplifies how movement can increase positive mental health thanks to dancers performing against the floating digital graphic. In fact, they say that it only takes 15.5 0.9 minutes for movement to uplift something the enlightened participants were able to experience. So you just have to move during a short time to be uplifted. Meta also offers an immersive experience during the French Tribute Tour from 2033 to fans using MetaQuest headsets, where they will be surrounded by avatars of the French team for the singing of the Marseillaise, a moment of unity which is felt intensely by fans.
So we will talk a little bit about climbing. Maybe there is some climber in the audience. We have to know that the climbing community opens the way to a new form of collective moment between leisure, activism, and work. As an energy crisis looms, we've got young activists, parkour athletes, that are turning off the lights in Paris. The so-called light off operation have resonated even more in recent months, combining collective sense of responsibility after work practice and climbing adventure. A combo surely motivating enough to get these young activists out. We also have the climbing district here that renews the climbing gyms by proposing to integrate co-working space and social club in atypical places. For example, I think the next one there's going to be in a church. So they're going to create a climbing, I would say, social place in a church. Why not? So the place is open in the heart of Paris for new indoor climbing. Well, another hard question. So how can we reinvent the winter sports? The climate's economic and energy crisis oblige skiing and festive dimension to belong to a past era. Besides, we've got the idea of, we got the example of two tents that were at the entrance of the I5 festival dedicated to skiing. It is based in Annecy. They have been tagged with something marked winter sports equal sport of yesterday. Well, it throws a grating cold on the future of the practice. But the challenges are huge. And the mountain actors have already been working for several seasons on the future of the resorts and their diversifications. We've got the example of the Nordic Happy Hour in Savoie, which is in France. It's offer introductions to skiing at the end of the day. It's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the idea is like to enjoy a healthy and sporty after work, alone or with friends, in the middle of nature to discover the cross-country skiing. We've got also something called Défi Folie, Lac Lusa, also in France. Since 1987, this spectacular and completely crazy event gathers 150 participants and several thousands of spectators in the sumptuous environment of Confins. So the water slide is simple. You just have to ski, monoski, snowboard, or any similar gliding devices, and you have to glide the longest distance on the coffin length after a run-up on a steep and snowy slope. So it's a festival way of approaching skiing in low-tech mode. And so the third strategic solution, remix culture. The creative emulation of upcycling seduce more and more brands surfing on the drop culture. The exclusivity, but also the vintage dimensions that attract the hype beast. We've got the example of Nike Server. So it is Linus, so the guy right here, yes, right here, which is a 23-year-old sportswear design student, which is behind Nike Server. It is a platform that Bristol-born reseller used as a hub for his encyclopedic array of rare Nike silhouettes scavenged from eBay and other second-hand platforms. So the collector looks towards sustainable footwear consumption, rebuilding broken-down kicks and giving them a new lease of life through customized reparations. We also have Adidas that's taking part in the action through a special initiative with the designer Sean Weatherspoons. The two parties have linked up to give away repurposed vintage jackets to 100 lucky fans during the Coachella festivals. Weatherspoon, well, I've been a fan of vintage Adidas tracksuits and apparel for nearly 16 years. When the baggy, the oversized jacket aesthetic start to trend. And so because of his relationship with the element of the brands, it was very easy for him to make the selections. And we also have Arc'teryx, so the Canadian outerwear brands, which has partnered with Gaëlle, so to release a collection of rare piece recognitions from the Arc'teryx archives. So less known in Europe, it is much more known in the United States. Gaëlle is the world's largest marketplace for men's fashion and streetwear. It was launched in 2013. And this platform brings together a large community composed mainly of experts that has become one of the best places to find rare pieces.
This first creative solution is around psychedelic print and jacquard. We saw that there is an expectation for efficient, eye-catching solution in a world where we saw textile through screen. So as people can't touch the textile, we have a development of a lot of psychedelic print, oil stain dilution print, and very eye-catching jacquard with really textured reliefs. The second creative solution is around glam tech design, where technicality is put at the service of glamour for highly scripted and non-conformist products. For example, you have the brand Asco, who made active bra with high maintenance that combine exostructured aesthetic with the delicacy of welded material combination between peach skin, velvet, and translucent mesh. Crafts also have made a new climatic shirt with a new aesthetics between kinesiology taping and bonding chic for climatic function. And also we have Kim Jali from Decathlon, who has worked with Chantel. And we saw that the lace invests the sport in active but resolutely feminine variants. The next creative solution is around crazy sculpture. So we saw that there is a success of 3D printed aquatic loafers and flip-flops that given birth to a whole generation of sneakers with molded upper. Unlimited creativity meets a method of production that has the potential to be more responsible because it uses just single material, it's monomaterial design. And now we are around the colors with pictorial flamboyant, the dazzling and powerful intensity of a duo of red and orange, it's a red-orange, incandescent duo, is exposed to the radicalness of absolute indigo. This is a color harmony which is very interesting to use in a very psychedelic print for something very eye-catching.
So,
yes, last but not least, a second focus for this scenario around a tech glam color with weathered brown and purple that redefine height and tenacity and are lit up with a hint of sumptuous ochre for a futuristic glamorous feel. I already invite you to come to see the color in reality because on the screen it's not really efficient.
So we are moving on with the last but not least concept. So we will speak about the venture.
Yes, so the relentless reality of climate change in the world forces a systemic bifurcation, which requires an adaptation strategy with ambitious commitment and a strong narrative, epic, creative solution.
So, on this slide, sorry for the number and the name, but it's going to be easier to understand what we speak about. Today we've got a new study conducted by an international team of researchers in atmospheric sciences, which has just affirmed that the current of air jet or jet stream is weakening, and that its oscillations are more and more marked due to the global warming. Consequently, extreme weather phenomena are appearing more numerous, with the blocking of situations leading to heat waves and more persistent bad weather. This development is projected to continue gathering forces in the coming years with the continued warming of the polar regions. Irrevocably, our survival will therefore depend on our ability to deal with violent elements such as wind, water, extreme cold or extreme heat, causing like a stormy squall, climatic displacements of population, which is also grow in scale. Thus, the implicable reality of climatic upheavals in the world forces to work toward a necessary systemic bifurcation. Complicated words, but yeah, this is a reality.
We saw an expectation for an epic culture in order to provide the necessary motivation for taking collective action. For companies, Patagonia is paving the way via its founder, who has announced that every year excess profits will be distributed as dividend to fight the environmental crisis. We have also NOSC. NOSC has launched 1.5 degree project, a short film connecting all the ambassadors of the brand from point A to point B in their sport in the most efficient way possible. This is a collective united around a challenge, a number, as a symbol referring to the limits of carbon emission we have to obtain. And then we have Arthur Vaillant. In addition to the movie NOSC, this is a photographer who worked with NOSC also. But he has made an exhibition to changing climate through the image of glacier. It is time to reconsider glacier as essential element for the good balance of life on Earth, and not just as outdoor adventure scenery or background. So you can see that this is not just running into next to glacier. This is the name of the exhibition. And glacier play a thermoregularity role due to the white surfaces that reflect the heat of the sun rays, while the ocean absorbs them. So does the rock that appears when the ice melts. Less ice means more rock, and the vicious cycle goes on. So you want to point and make a focus on the glacier.
True. Concerning the strategic solution number one, zero carbon solution production. Manufacturers are developing production methods based on the capture and transformation of CO2 emissions. We've got, for example, the global sports brand Puma and the international model and actress and activist Cara Delevingne, which launched a new Exile collections featuring eco-conscious yoga apparel. Puma and Cara made thoughtful decisions around sustainability with the use of mindful materials and techniques. All bras, ties, and layering pieces are made from at least 20% of recycled materials. We also have On Running. For its Cloud Prime running shoes, the Swiss sports equipment manufacturer has developed an alternative manufacturing process to the EVA plastic generally made from petroleum. They upgrade Clean Cloud technology, which captures the carbon emitted by factories in order to transform it into ethanol. This will then be dehydrated, then transformed into foam to be integrated into the running shoes. So a crazy cycle with On Running. And we've got also the Silvaterra Scoot headlamp. So this is the first headlamp on the market with a real ecological ambition. all plastic are recycled or made of trifilon Revo, which is a type of carbon neutral plastics. And this reduces carbon emission by 19% compared to a headlamp that use conventional plastics. So that's something. Also, we have to support ambitious scientific research. On Earth or in space, science takes on extreme territories in order to prepare for tomorrow. We've got the British climatologist and the 2021 Rolex Prize winner, Gina Mosley, which is planning a 2023 expedition to Arctic caves, so that to understand the planet's changing climate. Stalactites and stalagmites that have existed for millennia could help us to trace the Earth's climatic history and reveal the mysteries of what might happen in the future. We've got also the French Foundation of Tara Océan, which is launching its new scientific mission in the heart of the Arctic Ocean, with the ambition to explore and understand environments that are still unknown. And this one, quite interesting also. We need to go back to the outdoor pioneers to avoid the overcrowding of sports venue and the globalization of activities. So we need to reconnect with authentic and original spirits for the practice. So for several decades, the mountains have been taken over by real estate investors. The tourists also that were seeking to have comfortable skiing stations. But fortunately, some small resorts are resisting to any excessive expansions and are keeping the family spirit of the first hours. We've got, for example, in Silverstone, in the West America, the ski bumps, which have no other claim than to slide freely. And they are nomadic ski enthusiasts who live from small jobs to be on the slopes as often as possible. In the same way, we see the rise in power of the thru hikers, which are hikers who cover long distance in one go during sometimes 6 months, like on the mythical Pacific Crest Trail. Attitudes also reinforced by the fed up with the standardization of destinations. We can call that the outdoor burnout. Symptomatic of the influence of the social networks, that bring more than 2.3 million posts under the hashtag Yosemite, or more than 2,100 similar photos of the famous Trolltunga rock in Norway. So, creative way, how can we deal with it?
Yes, the creative solution, the first one, is around atmospheric pattern that invests outerwear from orange accents to the frothiest of glacier blues, as if to relay the climate change underway. Like a fictional story, Walker against the wind, extreme conditions are printed and materialized in colored guts of maxi prints. The second creative solution is around the gorpcore trends that never cease to seduce urbanites in search of adventure. Contemporary and trekking code mix to reinvent a wardrobe for urban exploration and the city's grit cold. Lululemon takes a step ahead of fitness brand with a hike line for urban jungle, remote trails, and everywhere in between. You have also some different ones like Meanwhile, who use Dynama on their project, but it's not for real outdoor, it's more for urban purpose. And the last creative solution is around neo-origin aesthetics. It embraces the idea of creating a new storytelling for outdoor and fabric innovation. The primitive aesthetics seems to impose itself for an undyed stripping in the service of the research of technicality of the fabric. Stone Island experimented a devoid Kevlar technique to create a light lace with technical look. Nike has developed a kind of fly knit with chenille upper effects, while Creora worked on a pilot program to regenerate polyester chemically with undyed fibers. So we have a focus, a color focus on bare primitive. The pallor of primitive bones meets the frugality of natural and undyed shades, setting a new standard for bright neutrals. And the last one is around frosty climatic shade. Icicle reflection inspire a frosty harmony of almond water, cirrus blue, and aurora borealis mauve.
So I don't know if it works well, yeah? Yeah, okay. So we made a little synthesis, the 4 concepts: regeneration, absolute, reglam, and deventure. That was, this is the last slide. That was a real pleasure to be with you, to be able to present our trends, expectations. We are at the booth 021, which is all free right here. You can discover our trend books if you want to see also some prints, some shapes, some silhouettes
drawing
from Spring Summer 24. And just also to finish with something, we will have guided sessions starting at 4 p.m. And it's going to be a completely different subject because we're going to talk about metaverse in the sports industry. We're going to talk about fabrics into the metaverse. So if you want to join us, we're going to be at all here. I think so. And you can meet us at the point of the guided session, and we can have a talk together about metaverse and what's going on in the metaverse for the sports.
It's not really a presentation. It's more like answering your question.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, could I ask you to show your appreciation for Gaëlle and Adrian, please? And we've got 5 minutes. If anyone wants to ask some questions, and we can take a couple of questions before they disappear onto Stan. Otherwise, I'm going to question them, and they would far rather take a public question than me. We don't have any virtual questions, do we, currently? I'm going to kick off. We've seen regenerative, reglam, absolute, and the venture.
Yeah.
I understand, but which one do you think is the most commercial? Which one do you think is more likely to succeed? So I'm going to talk which one is more popular.
I think when we were talking about the Gorb core, that's something that really is booming right now.
Yes, it's linked to different scenario, finally.
Yeah, it's linked to all the scenarios, but this is a major trend that we've seen booming. I mean, in Paris especially also, we've seen booming. Like, many people now are buying Arc'teryx clothes, Salomon shoes, Millet, or I don't know, like peak performance products. Because people in the cities now want to wear technical clothes because they feel more comfortable in this, because they think it's going to be more durable, because they think that it's made from sometimes recycled materials, recycled fabrics. So the Gorb core, I will say, trends, the fact to bring to the cities some outdoor influences is really something that is going to boom in the next years.
Yes, for example, you saw on the absolute concept scenario that the luxury is now changing, and now it's more turning into technical detail, technical material, efficient solution. So
yes.
This is something that is really important. And also on the venture, and you can see that we need epic storytelling. And this is the Gorb core. Now, finally, it's a way for people to reappropriate outdoor codes and the idea of outdoor, even if they don't practice.
So it's the content that they represent, the values and the ethics they represent, which is the really interesting part.
That's true.
In other words, if you don't have a story, forget it.
That's true. Storytelling is also a big part of it. I mean, I think that we can see that major global luxury brands also develop now outdoor collections. Like you can speak about Prada, we can speak about Balenciaga, you can speak about a lot of luxury brands. If luxury brands are going through these trends, I mean, this is something really popping in the...
Even Off-White has just launched their skiwear collection.
That's true.
Just now.
But it's really about our brands, not only, and that's exactly what you say, not only to speak about this, they have to also integrate this into the quality of their product. Like just saying, I'm doing outdoor clothes without the good fabrics, without the good materials, without the good shapes, that could be an absolute disaster. So it has to be clear that if you want to go to these markets, you need to be 100% real on this. Or you can have a bad buzz or something really not good going on. And just to finish with something, I think this is also something that we see with a collaboration. Some brands develop outdoor clothes, but collaboration also between outdoor brands and luxury brands that were really not linked before is booming. And we can think about Salomon shoes. They now have the possibility to work with Boris Bidjan, for example, or with many high-end designers. That was something not possible in the last 10 years. So yeah, collaboration also make it real to these gorbcore or the outdoor trends.
The little bit of insider knowledge I have, I've seen the Salomon team wandering around, and I don't think it's a secret. They're rejuvenating their apparel. They think they've got their shoes up to standard, and the big energy is into the apparel right now. But I'm talking too much. Are there any questions from the audience? Here's your opportunity. People who are on the buzz, if you want to pick on them, ask the question. In which case, can I ask you all to show your appreciation again for Gaëlle and Adrian for coming along and updating us?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much. And see you on booth 021 if you have questions later on.